What I wanted to talk about is, and I can't think of a better way to say it, but are you going to hell now? So, we're going to talk about that you lived a life in fear, so you stayed in a group that you felt like aligned with who you were as a person. And a lot of times we've stayed in these groups because there was this idea that if you left, you were going to lose your salvation as a human being, and that's scary. And then you begin questioning everything from whether or not what you've been raised in was true, or whether or not, if there's some God out there, then how could this have happened type of stuff, or how do people do this, or how do these atrocities happen, and things of that nature. So that's our subject for today. Are you going to hell now? And I don't want to make light of it, but I mean, I can't tell you, and this was not necessarily in the group that I was in, but I can't tell you how many times I've been told I was going to hell. So it's become kind of comical to me. And this is before I ever left, too. This was just my experience with some other situations where people have, because I was questioning different things, that people came down on me. I mean, I had a friend that I've had friends tell me I was going to hell because I wasn't following their faith, and it had nothing to do with who I am as a person. So how do you reconcile that? How do you reconcile this idea that you were on this path that was supposed to lead you somewhere, and if you don't follow that path, all of a sudden you're not going to get to that end point? So what now? And there are so many people who leave churches and leave religious environments that then decide that they're not going to follow some type of faith anymore. And I don't necessarily think you have to. I personally don't ascribe to organized religion at this point. For obvious reasons, have a lot of things that I feel like dysfunction that it causes. Now, I think there's a lot of beautiful things in there too, and ways that it helps people come together as a community, and how it can be wonderful and it can inspire a lot of people. But there's a negative side to some of the organizations that it's not something I align with anymore in my life. So how did I restore faith in something afterwards? And this is just ideas to help you guys get back to something that's meaningful to you, and to bring something back to you. So I discussed in another one about how when I grew up, and how meditation was almost scarring for me. And it wasn't until I took a class in college, which was, in my early 30s, that I took this class on spiritual aspects of health and healing, that I created a new relationship with meditation. So there may be a lot of things that you were raised in that are absolutely amazing and beautiful. And if that's true, you have a right to still keep those things in your life. But you can revisit the things that you've grown up with, and you can make a decision what you want to keep and what you want to let go of. And it takes time to do that. But there may be a lot of things that you grew up with that are amazing and beautiful. And so this is about how to shuffle through. And it's almost like, it's like organizing your past. And the other tool that you're going to need is you're going to need to begin searching out the knowledge for the things that you want, to find out if they do still have meaning for you. If I hadn't found another way to meditate outside of what I was raised in, I wouldn't be meditating right now. I'm so thankful for meditation in my life. It has been an amazing tool for me. It is something I teach other people how to do because it's so powerful. But there's other things as well. And there's, One of the things that restored a lot of faith for me, believe it or not, is science. There's an enormous amount of science out there that supports the things, that there's articles on the benefits of prayer and meditation and gratitude and forgiveness and there's a doctor. This was one thing that was incredibly powerful for me. I read this book, and it was Bruce Lipton. It's a little dry because he's a cellular biologist. So just know you're reading a biology book. So this is not just like some feel-good book. But it's the biology. The name of the book is The Biology of Belief. What he teaches in that book is he breaks down how a cell works, and he taught cellular biology at different universities. He breaks down how a cell works in your body and how your thoughts turn on and activate different health issues, basically. How your body will create cancer, or how your body will create all these different health issues based on your thoughts and your feelings in life. And how when we change our thoughts and feelings, it actually changes our biology. So we're much more affected by the thoughts that we think than just the parents that we came from, as far as like genetics and stuff like that. So I remember having my mind blown about these things, and some of these I'd grown up with, but I'd never heard like the background behind them or the science behind them. And once I was able to hear something that wasn't just a faith-based teaching, you've grown up in an environment where faith-based teaching is gotten you where you've gotten. And for me, I needed something solid. I needed something that I felt like I could stand on. And it was going more towards something that was scientific, and then beginning to put the tools in place so that I could trust myself again. Because some of it is you feel like that you've been taken advantage of, and so you don't trust yourself. And because you don't trust yourself, you're very insecure, and you make not the best decisions anymore. So it's about, how do we find some things that are foundational, that give you some of that strength inside for you. And that was what I did. And seeking knowledge did that for me. So I read books by him. I read another book that I love is Power versus Force. And that's about muscle testing. It's the science behind muscle testing. It's absolutely fascinating. And I don't know if I can go too far into it because we could talk about this for another 20 minutes, but the interesting thing about muscle testing is that it gives you a true reading about different things. And this guy has muscle tested everything, everything from people who have lived on this earth, like Jesus and Muhammad and all these different, these different faiths that we follow, but he's also tested the churches, and he's actually rated everything on a scale and what rates positive versus negative. And it's actually, and that there's this medium point for things that we've been raised in, or there's this medium point that things either affect us positively or negatively. So there's this numbered point that if something, and it varies a little bit, because some people could be allergic to something, so you're going to test very negatively towards it, so it would have a very negative effect on you. But other things universally test positive on people depending on what it is, and it's a great book. I love Joe Dispenza. Joe Dispenza does a lot of quantum physics, and his whole mission is, different types of meditations that help people get into a state that they can heal. And there's so much amazing things out there that can begin to renew your ability to heal that part of feeling like that you don't know where to go after you've been taken advantage of to that level, because you've been taken advantage of in a very dire way. And until you begin to work and heal, to begin to strengthen yourself, that's what you need, is you need to strengthen yourself, and you deserve that. So it's about time to do the little things that are going to build you back up. And a lot of this is not going to be an overnight process. But I do believe that there's a higher power, or that there's a universal intelligence, or there's something that's divine. I don't believe you have to take the part away from the fact that men have taught you something and they may have changed the story. So if there was something incredibly pure about the teaching that was being taught to you, that doesn't mean the person that gave it to you was. I'm going to say that again. Maybe you were raised in something that was pure and beautiful, but the people that delivered it to you were not. The vessel was damaged. It's like drinking water out of a poisoned cup. It doesn't matter how that water may come from the most amazing spring, and it may be the giver of life, but as soon as it touched that cup and then it touched your lips, it poisoned you. So how do you go back? So now you're like, you feel like all you need is a drink of water to quench that thirst, but you're so afraid of drinking water again. There's a million other springs out there, and this is not go join another church. I am not in a church, but there's so much knowledge and information and love and beautiful things, and that's what you need. Not to go give your power away just to another source. Not to start drinking out of somebody's cup. One of the things that I want people to understand and know is that you don't have to drink from somebody else's cup. You can go straight to the source yourself. It is your right and your ability to go straight to the source, and this is why I don't particularly ascribe to a specific religion, is because I don't believe somebody else has to teach me about God. That does not mean I won't listen to some people that are incredibly knowledgeable about things, because there's some people that have some amazing knowledge, and I love learning. What it means is that I am not going to let somebody else get in the way of my relationship with my belief in something higher than me. You don't have to have somebody else. And that relationship comes from here. And that comes from you getting connected and meditating and prayer and all these different tools that have been fucked up for you because somebody fucked them up for you. So what we're doing is we're just unfucking it. We're just going to unfuck all of that. Just unfuck it all. So I hope this was helpful. It is my pleasure to do these for you guys, as much as I cry on almost every single one of them. All of this stuff makes me very emotional because it means a lot to me. And I want to help a lot of people because we all need it. And I wish somebody had been there to do this for me. But I'm here to do it for you. So please connect with me. I'm at 100yearsofbliss.com. I will give you a free life blueprint. I might be running a special right now. I'm running a special for a week free. If you ask me about that, I have a week free of my program, but a lot of other things as well. Love to have you in my private Facebook group. I really look forward to connecting with you. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Bye.